Hello my lovely people, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on your time zone or anytime you are coming across this video. If it is your first time and you like what we are doing here, kindly subscribe, put on your notification bell to all notification. In that way you will be able to know when we upload a video. Here we react to all forms of videos, local and international, especially what is happening in Nigeria. I want to seize this opportunity to appreciate YouTube for creating this wonderful platform that we are using today to disseminate information to the members of the public. At the same time, I put a disclaimer that here in Linda's TV show, we do not promote war, violence, misleading information, or instigating any violence. We are here to inform and educate the members of the public, and also to remind YouTube that a call for self-determination is never a call for war. Please take note of this.
Areas of funding, both locally and internationally. For the local aspects, they have a means of, they have their followers that they've empowered, that contribute money to what they are doing. They go through banditry, some of them get benefit from taxes. All these things they do from within, the kidnappings is all part of it where they raise funds. And then externally, we have external people that equally support them. The issue of IPOB. There's a lot of funding that comes in there.
CDS.
Yes.
Are you worried? Because you know an operation,
of course, definitely.
A special operation on the sit-at-home IPOB situation in the southeast.
Yes.
But some of the elements and the leaders of these groups are outside of the country.
Yes. We have repeatedly complained about the issue of Simon Ekpa. He is in Finland. The Finnish government are giving him all the support and he's doing what he's doing. Comments he's making. People are being killed and nothing is being done. And this is democracy. If the European Union is the one supporting democracy and this is happening and they're not taking action, then they don't mean well for Nigeria. We have said that in clear terms. We need to diplomatically find means of getting him out of whatever it is that he's doing. He must be arrested, he must be prosecuted. Look at it from the other way. Assuming he is in Nigeria and he's doing that to the Finnish government, you think the European Union will allow that happen? They definitely will not. So why are they allowing him to do what he's doing? And people like him that are doing such things. Trailing the funds is very critical. I know a lot of the First Central Bank, the NFIU, are doing a lot in tracking down how the funds flow. And this is part of what we call the oxygen of terrorism. It's logistic, leadership, and funding. Your ability to be able to tackle those things and trail them and deny them the ability to operate will kill terrorism with good governance. Now, you can see the statistics that came in. Political will. And political will is not from federal government alone. The states are critical. For me, if I look at the aspects, what do we need? Let's look at solutions. Do we have a comprehensive database as Nigerians? If you go to Chad, Cameroon, and Niger, once you enter, they know you are not a Nigerian. And they have this duty as citizens. Once you speak, the man knows you are not a Nigerian. The next thing he tells you, if he's a taxi driver, he tells you his vehicle has a problem. He's calling the gendarmes. Before you know it, the gendarmes are coming to ask you, what are you doing in our country? We don't have that. That's what we're saying is a holistic thing that we have to do. Every Nigerian has a role to play in what's going on ground, and then we must look at these things and take it up as a challenge. It's not a military or a security aspect. Everybody has a role to play in this, and that's what I'm saying.
25 years on.
I think it's gladdening that the democracy has survived 25 years, because to be fair, a number of us did not give it that much expectation.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that is why.
It was shorter?
Yeah, that is why we didn't participate at the beginning.
Oh, I see.
And now we are playing catch up, you know, and because of our inability to participate, it also negatively affected the quality of democracy we have. Because all you have now is people really positioning themselves to access opportunity in government and almost convert public resources into personal wealth. The whole commitment to translate democracy into services that will respond to national challenges is completely absent or at best weak. And I think until we achieve that, we cannot celebrate democracy much. The mere fact that under democratic dispensation, condition of living has crashed to a level beyond anybody's imagination, I think should challenge all of us to wake up and start asking the question, what really has gone wrong? Is it really the democracy that we fought? Is it the reason we chased the military to go back to the barracks? I don't think this is, we have what we really fought for. But we must not give up. We must continue to fight and continue to engage our leaders until this democracy translates to something that is responsive to citizens.
It's interesting that you mentioned the decline in the quality of life of Nigerians under democracy. Many people say it may not be the democracy that's the problem, it may be governance that's the problem. And that decline happened under the APC for many people.
Look. Let's not go.
For many people, the governance from the APC is responsible.
Listen to me
for
first.
The decline in the quality of
their lives. You see,
you
are reaching conclusion before listening to me.
Okay.
Democracy is attractive because the principle is that it's supposed to make governance better. So if it has not, then we must ask the question. And we don't need to run away from that fact, it has not. This is a fundamental issue. Now, coming to the point you made about APC, I mean, it's been the basis of my advocacy for the last, I don't know how many years now. When APC came about, the hope is that it will translate into something much qualitatively better than what PDP was. Has it achieved that? No, it has not. In fact, at the moment, this is where I stand and I don't hide it. What we have as a party is just a legal entity. It doesn't serve the function of political party in the classical sense of it. A political party is supposed to aggregate interests and opinion of people and translate it when it have government into policies of government. This is not what we have. Unfortunately, from a problem of imposition of candidates under PDP, we have graduated to a level almost our democracy is producing emperors as leaders. To the point that even people in the party cannot differ from the position of elected people. This is not what democracy is supposed to produce. And I have the conviction until we move our democracy to the level when a leader commits something wrong, you can walk up to him. We are all human. That an APC leader, I'm an APC person, does not mean if my leader does wrong, I should not be able to tell him.
Well, you also said that the party ideals have not been, they've not complied or upheld the tenets of the founding fathers, and such part of the reasons why you quit. So, has there been any time really that the party actually adhered to the objective ideals of the founding fathers?
In 2013, 2014, when the merger was being negotiated, leaders were meeting almost on a weekly basis. And in the last piece I wrote, I reflected that perhaps that is about the only time maybe President Buhari was truly a Democrat. He subordinated himself, participated in those meetings, and every decision was binding on everybody. Once President Buhari became president, everything changed. You know, the problem of having leaders that are inaccessible started with President Buhari. The problem of also the structures of the party beginning to stop meeting started under President Buhari. And gradually it got to this state where for almost a year, no meeting has taken place at all. And the problem of the party not having a say in the government it produced started under President Buhari. Let's not shy away from it. Because if we shy away from it, it means we are not committed to resolve the challenges of democracy. We are not ready to build a nation in which everybody will be proud to say this is the country we want. Look, when you talk a problem of marginalization, and my problem with President Aswaju started from the beginning, when the campaign to get Senator Abdullahi Adamu and Senator Yola Mishore out of the party was almost my singular hard work. Nobody pushed me, but having gotten them out of the party, the first thing President Aswaju did was to take steps that completely marginalizes the people of North Central in the political leadership of the country. Until today, it has not been corrected. And it's quite worrisome if leaders in the party will just sit down. It means we're just pushing President Aswaju to destroy himself.
What you raised is something, part of which a number of people out there, when you enter cabs or out on the streets, several people are talking about different things. I'm talking about different categories of members of our society in terms of our governance, what and how we are running governance 25 years on. Now, some of the things you highlight leads us to ask, is it then because within the PDP we saw similar things, now APC was seeing similar things? Is it about the people now? Because at this point, some other people are talking about a different style of governance, but it will still be by the same people who run it. So is it the people or the system or what?
I think it's a combination of all of the above. Once you have a situation where institutions and organizations are not allowed to function, the capacity to regulate the conduct of individuals become weak. All of us have our weaknesses. We all have our bad side. It's only when we are regulated that our strengths and our good side will show more than our bad side. One that is lost, then everybody will be working based on convenience. And that is what is happening now. We don't want to challenge ourselves. I mean, take issues about insecurity. We know that we need to take collective responsibility to be able to solve this problem. But everybody sit back. And we watch even when government, when elected people who promise to solve the problem are not doing anything. They are just running government based on business as usual. Nobody is talking. And you now see a situation, we are a progressive government. We are supposed to be a progressive government. And a progressive government is supposed to prioritize the living condition of citizens. So public investment in terms of policies will prioritize that. All of a sudden, we talk about statistics of out-of-school children in the north. We talk of 10 million. And this is what has brought this crisis of banditry and insecurity. And a claimed progressive government, instead of investing very high in education and mop up the out-of-school children and reduce the number of people that can be recruited into banditry, spending 15 trillion naira on Lagos, Calabar, Coastal, with the best of intention, that could be needed. But in terms of priority of the nation, is it road construction or attending to problem of insecurity? We all talk about the problem of police, for instance, police in the country. Everybody knows this country is under police. We are a population of over 200 million people with a police force of less than 1 million people. So there are many ungoverned spaces. Now, it's not rocket science. All that we need is to recruit more people into the police force and arm it. I mean, the debate about state policing or federal police is needless for me. If, for instance, we are going to hang on to federal police, let me see commitment by the federal government to recruit enough police force and arm them and train them so that they can protect life and properties.
But aren't there fundamental challenges, even as you've said it, because questions as to how the IGP is appointed. In fact, it extends to how judges are appointed. It also extends to ensuring at least a lot less control from the center, so that different, which is the tenets of democracy, about the people.
Look, Chamberlain, the business of government is about responding to challenges. And there is no one formula to responding to those challenges. The beauty of democracy is that everybody will be allowed to express himself or herself. And at the end of the day, there will be decision one way or the other. And the majority will have their way. Now, that is where my problem is. As a party, when we came into office, when we came to power, before we came to power between 2013, I keep making reference to that, and 2015, the quality of debate inside the party was so robust. But once we got into power, we start blocking debate.
Why did that happen?
Yeah. Because, like I said, we had a situation whereby we allowed people to emerge as emperors after becoming elected. All they want is to control machinery of government, exercise prerogative on matters of appointment and matters of deciding how to spend public resources, which ideally, the beauty of democracy is supposed to strengthen the structures of a party and strengthen every member of the party to participate in all those processes. So, and part of my frustration, if we say President Buhari, it's possible to have all of that under him because he was a military ruler. We have President Asuwaju, who is a seasoned politician and has no experience in military tradition, but practically doing the same thing almost in a worse form.
Wow.
And nobody is talking. And for me, look, rather than pretend, I spent, like I said, we've been in the trenches. I'm not part of those who, after being in the trenches, coming out, will now start celebrating and say we are the one that fought for this democracy. Yes, we fought for this democracy. What has this produced? Are we happy? I'm not happy.
Have you voiced these frustrations with the president?
Chamberlain can answer that question.
What kind of, did he give you any assurances afterwards?
Who?
Did you voice these complaints with the president?
Look,
did he give any assurances after you voiced these complaints?
I have not had access to him, and it's part of the reason why I said I'm going back to the trenches. Because the beauty of democracy is the fact that, look, we are all free. Nobody, even under military, when we go to campaign, we get arrested. Not once, not twice. Under democracy, I have the constitutional right to go and mobilize people and we have to start the process of organizing.
It's obvious that you're not the only person in your party.
Certainly, I'm not. Yeah. The issue really is everybody is waiting for who will bear the cat. And for me, we have to break that ice and give people the confidence to really come together. I have said it, I don't hide it. APC as it is now and its government can only win election in 2027 if they rig. I don't see, based on what is going on, how citizens can willingly go and vote APC. Already, it's sociological knowledge.
So when you listen to all these promises made by the president, we heard his speech yesterday, he keeps talking about...
Look. You
don't believe any of that. You think he can deliver on these promises?
I want to see it. If he proves me wrong, I am ready to swallow my pride and apologize to him publicly and declare my support for him. But I spent 1 year trying to access him to even draw his attention. I have not achieved that. I've frozen my life for 1 year. And I'm not the only one. I'm very sure there are many people. And so look, the quality of governance has gone down. The quality of democracy is not what we expect. If I say I'm a member of a ruling party, I expect to have some privilege, both in terms of participation in decision of government we produce and having access to elected leaders. None of that is in the present presence.
When you started out, you said that, also referred to probably in passing, that at that time, when all of this was happening, trying to bring about a democratic system of governance, many who were at least visibly agitating didn't think that it was going to last that long, and so they stayed behind. And as a result of that, probably, had several persons who just got in there, grabbed whatever they could, stayed in, held on to power, now difficult to let go. So, now that there's different agitation, talk about state police, local government autonomy, new constitution, but seeing all of this play out, and then you say within the party, several people are behind the scenes waiting to belt the cart. And sometimes when we reach out to persons to be on the program, they tell you, no, I don't want to get in trouble with certain persons. It leaves us asking questions as to, even if those group of people were behind the scenes, are they not seeing enough to say, look, I think we need to get back in here and see how we could wrestle some of these things, joining political parties, allowing internal democracy within parties, but we still haven't seen enough of that, which is part of why you say no internal democracy in political parties.
Let me be honest with you. I think we all made mistakes. Part of the mistake we made is to prioritize the business of election as the main issue with our democracy. The fundamental institution which should drive the democracy, we don't pay attention to it, which is the political party. Even when we negotiate merger, we apply ourselves and believe and trust that leaders will really do the needful to play based on the rule of the party and the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Unfortunately, what turned out to be the case, which is why I say we must be honest to ourselves and be humble to accept that we ourselves, we made mistake. We ended up playing in the hands of people who just want to grab power with little, zero commitment to the question of really applying services to solve the problem of citizens. Which is why, for me moving forward in terms of negotiating, I can tell you this: when I was in the National Working Committee of the party, we had a WhatsApp platform. One day I made the point that, look, I don't trust any leader. I was referring to Abdullahi Adamu, and the truth is that that is what should drive us. We should not operate on the basis of blind trust. We must force our leaders to earn our trust based on capacity to deliver services. Now, at all levels, this is what is lacking in our democracy. People keep telling me that, no, it's just 1 year. By the time we reach December, the business will be about which candidate are you going to support,
I mean, listening to you, it just paints a really sad picture. Almost as though politics came in and stood in the way of governance. And then we're now having to deal with politics, and then governance keeps going on the decline. What way forward do you see here?
Look, what way forward is that Nigerians must pay attention and support a process that built a party. We must never make the mistake to believe that all that is important in this democracy is to queue behind a presidential candidate. Which is why in one of my communications, I said, look, my position is no longer about allowing a situation where somebody will come and will the public and say, I am going to solve the problem as Waju fell. For me now, and which is why we have to start now, we have to start with building a party that is capable. If it produces a president, the president will be subordinated to the party.
Talk to all, because all of these things you raised, it's not that many people who are, whether they're in political parties or not, don't see or know it, but they choose to play the ostrich. So now the question is this: how do you suggest, because this comes up time and again, ethnicity, religion, these things they use and drive wedge and ensure that people don't see beyond those things to ask for what results, what capacity do you have? How do we overcome that?
I feel like I said, a number of these questions are practical questions. If you expect an answer to them before you start any initiative, you become defeated already. I think what we need to do is to go into the field now, start mobilizing, early enough before. You remember when Comrade Adams Oshomole was removed from the national chairman of the APC? It was done very early, some years before election, and it was expected within 6 months there will be a convention. Unfortunately, we fell into a booby trap of a caretaker committee postponing, and at the end of the day, by the time we have a new leadership, we have only some few months to election. Now, if we are saying that our number is not just the problem of ethnicity, the problem, those are the ones that are more visible. There is the bigger elephant in the room in terms of the survival of this democracy, which is about the funding of political parties. Once that is not addressed, at the moment there is no funding, which is why party leaders are like houseboys and housegirls to elected representatives, because their survival depends on the patronage of those elected representatives. Now, we must build a party which is able to address its funding such that the condition of service of party leaders is benchmarked with public service condition of service. For instance, a national chairman of the party should have the same status with the president of the country. Because it's only when you are able to achieve that the national chairman can be able to call the president to order, and his tenure is not dependent on the goodwill or benevolence of the president. At the moment, this is what exists, and so long as that is what exists, we'll continue to produce emperors, and even leaders who have the potential to be good leaders, their good side may not show up.
Well, Mr. Lukman, perhaps one of the challenges here is what you have just raised now. Because number one on my list here is talking about people around any president or any governor at any point in time. Now, the last issue you raised about the capacity of the chairman, the national chairman of a political party, is something that we have used before during the First Republic, and it was very efficacious during the Second Republic. In fact, the Second Republic chairman of the ruling party at the time, a good number of people will never forget his name, Chief Adisa Akinloye. The Third Republic had two very prominent national chairmen of the parties as well. But it would seem like in this republic, from the get-go, even before the elections, the party national chairman didn't have the kind of powers that they had previously in the previous republics that we had. What do you think was responsible for that?
I think part of what is responsible for that has to do with the reality that we started the democracy with President Obasanjo, who had a military background, and to be fair to him, I think between 1999 and 2003, it will appear the party was functional, and to some extent the party had a say in the government he ran. But maybe some of the dynamics around 2003 election pushed him to now subordinate the party and subordinate everybody to him. And till today, that is the model that is being practiced. And I think we need to rise. Unfortunately, when APC came about, the hope was that it will change. Again, maybe with the fact that former President Buhari had a military background in him, and also the fact that he was almost like the singular electoral asset of the party at the time, given his popularity in the north, made it almost impossible for anybody to measure up to him, And all this have to be corrected. I think to correct it will be to consciously ensure that the process of building any party that can come to power in 2027 should have people who have the same standing, both financially, socially, morally, and what have you, with the president. That is the only way, and on the basis of which many of them are occupying key positions in the party, and the president cannot walk away from them. Well, unless we are able to do that, what you are raising cannot be corrected.
But it also goes back to the political class, doesn't it? Because the second question, incidentally, as you were having that conversation with my colleagues, I was just making some notes. And the second thing that I noted is whether or not we have made progress 25 years on. You're speaking about something very, very critical. In fact, I remember having some conversation with some elderly fellow who was telling me that he still had the membership card of the UPN, the Unity Party of Nigeria in the Second Republic, and the contributions he made to the political party at his own level, from his ward level. I'm not sure that is the kind of thing that we have now. So if you were to look 25 years on, would you say that among the political class especially, have we made any significant progress that can last us another 25 years?
I can be very honest with you. We have not made any significant progress. If anything, we have regressed. Regressed to the point that the potential to destroy even people who are good is higher in our politics than the potential to build good people. And frankly speaking, this is quite worrisome, because for me it's like you building a family and understanding that the children you are going to give birth to, you are almost going to give birth to criminals. And I don't think any parent will be happy with that kind of situation. This is the situation we are in Nigeria. And I think until we factor this in our public conversation, we are not likely going to even begin to have proposals or propositions that can begin to correct it. And I think, for me, like I said, coming from the background of fighting for democracy, when we started doing it, we were very conscious. We have the kind of vision of the kind of society and nation Nigeria should be. Unfortunately, every day we wake up, rather than moving toward that vision, we are going in the opposite direction completely. And the challenge now is, what do we do to re-navigate and begin to channel the democratic movement toward the direction of the kind of vision we have, where life will be better for everybody.
Mr. Lukman,
where,
there is no
for
way.
For instance, every child.
Yeah, my apologies. There is no way we will make progress from what you are saying now. I don't see how, and I don't know if you agree, we can make any progress democratically if we do not make progress politically. Now, there are those who have wondered, look, if this is the way we are, and you are, you are very, very experienced, well experienced enough to have been raising the issues you are raising, knowing where the problems are coming from, and also charting a way to address them. Now, looking forward to another 25 years, I'm not sure that there's any young Nigerian today who is excited about our political class, who is excited about our democracy, and wants to get in. Now, there are a few young people who are in the political class, who are in politics today, and who are excited about our democracy, but a larger chunk are not, which is partly responsible for voter apathy over the years. So if you're to look forward to another 25 years, what are the stakes we must what are the roots we must plant? What are the stakes, the strongholds that we must build? What are the pillars that we must put in the ground to ensure that our democracy not just continues for another 25 years, but is actually stronger, better, and more functional for the Nigerian people?
The first thing is to begin to build the confidence of Nigerians about the possibility of things getting better. And move from there to the point whereby everybody will need to understand what is it that I need to do to contribute to making things better. If everybody just keep quiet and expect manna to fall from heaven, that is not going to happen. And I think for me, the starting point is to believe in the power of possibility. I believe we can change the course of public debate regarding how to build this, our democracy, between now and December this year, and put in place a group of dedicated Nigerians who can really consciously begin a project of building a political party with the hope of by 2027, producing president and a whole generation of new elected representatives who can begin to deliver services that will address the challenges facing Nigeria. If, for instance, and I'm part of APC, I don't shy away from it, we have failed after promising. We had 3 promises in 2015. Insecurity, the economy, and corruption. In all of this, we have failed. We must admit it. In building the kind of party we want to build, what is it that needs to be done? Beyond promises, it's not the attraction of the language in the campaign document. I mean, yesterday I had to make reference to the point that, look, what President Aswashi is doing today is almost contradictory to the renewed hope document. I don't see any correlation between what he's doing, and there is no reference to it. So I honestly believe, and I'm making this criticism with the best of intention. I am hoping that one day he will recover his democratic credential and start coming back to do the right thing. And honestly, like I said at the beginning, I'm ready to apologize to him and queue behind him and support him.
Okay.
But for now, the way he's going, I see it very remote.
Well,
people are just telling him what he wants to hear.
Yeah, just one last one.
Even when things are going back.
Yeah, just my apologies. Just one last one from me here at this time. Now, you've spoken about the need for the political class to get Nigeria working. We have quite a number of political parties, and everyone jostling for one office or the other. So there is no way. I mean, coming from you as a member of the political party, it speaks volumes. Now, there are other people from other political parties who are saying about the same thing that you're saying. So the question that I'd like to ask you now is, how do we get the entire political class, irrespective of political leanings or affiliations, on the track of looking for a better Nigeria, not just jostling for power? Is there a vision everyone must queue behind? How do we get to that point, Mr. Lukman?
I think the first thing is to recognize that many of us are in different political parties for reasons, maybe access to opportunity or some dynamic that will have played out. And that, like you highlighted, there are many people who are committed across political parties. So the business of organizing the kind of party that and the kind of new process that can begin to respond in a positive way has to be a multi-party approach, had to cut across parties. We have to have the capacity to identify people and give everyone the opportunity as Nigerian who really want something better for the country. I can bet myself, even the conservative people are not happy with the state Nigeria is today. So you don't need to be a progressive in the first place to really aspire to make Nigeria better. Even as a conservative, you want Nigeria, you want a better Nigeria, because who is a conservative? Conservative are usually people who are self-centered. You want a Nigeria where, for instance, the basket of opportunity is bigger.
Wait.
You know?
I need to understand what
you're conservative.
I'm not.
I need to be sure.
Okay. It's the way you said it. I want to be able to get there was something you said earlier. You said there was no way that Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu would win the elections without rigging in the next election. You actually said that. Why don't you just leave the party?
I have said my membership of the party is rendered useless. Well, I'm no longer wasting my time in the party calling for reform. They are not ready to reform. So I am out. I say I have gone back to the trenches. For me, is to find people who are ready. And I think there are, you've said it here, there are many. So the conversation has started. We have to really, look, Nigeria doesn't belong to President Aswaju or any individual. Nigeria belongs to all of us. And the truth is that Nigeria gave us the best it can as a generation. Unfortunately, we are bequeathing the worst to our children. And for me, what is firing me is the hope that in the short life I have, we can begin to go back to that Nigeria which was giving us better life. I think that is the issue. Whether in the process of all this thing, I have to incur losses and what have you, there are sacrifices we have to be ready to make. And anybody who wants something good for his or her children should be willing to make the needed sacrifice to make the children better and stronger.
And maybe a message for those who may be out there who say, no, I want things to be better, but I don't want to maybe suffer this or that. The point is, whatever it is that they are enjoying today, somebody fought for it. Somebody sacrificed for it.
Exactly.
Nothing out there is there for free. Somebody somewhere sacrificed for it. So you cannot then say, oh, no, just being myopic and looking at the world from a keyhole, which I always tell people, no, don't do, we can't that way. And besides, one thing that we also have gotten from what you're saying now is, even if you want to form a political party now and you bring like minds or people who you think will at least expect the good thing for the country, you have to do a little bit more than that. You have to, don't trust them with everything like that. You have to always be on your toes to make sure.
Look, the way things are, if my father wake up from his grave and become a politician, I'm not sure I can trust him. I mean, this is, if I want the best of him to come out, and it's in his own interest that I don't trust him so as to push him to apply his best for the country.
And it's not that he's demonizing people, no. It's about just ensuring that things are done right. It's about a system, things being done right. That's how a system
and also about ensuring that we produce leaders who, 100 years down the line, generation will be proud of what they have done.
All right, we have to thank you for coming on, Mr.
Hello, my wonderful people. As we have finished watching this interesting video, please, I want to see your comment, your contribution, your opinion in the comment section. Like I said earlier, let us do it constructively. Tell me what you think about this video that you have just watched, and also about the platform. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Please remember to subscribe, put on your notification bell, share this video, and remain blessed.